Let me start with a little disclaimer. This video is going to be all about this case, so if you're not interested in this case, you can click away from this video now. I was quite lucky to pick up this iPhone 15 Pro and Finewoven case on day one, a few hours after launch. So I've probably had this combo longer than anyone else in the world, or at least as long as anyone else. So I can give you a running commentary on how this case has been performing over time, which is what's really important about this case, how it performs over time. Now, a few days ago, I made an unboxing video of my iPhone 15 Pro and this Finewoven case, and I said a lot of good things about this case, and I still stand behind those things. I've never ever in my life seen so much controversy over a phone case before. So what I'm going to do today is give you a rundown on owning this case for 6 days now. I've been using this case as a normal person. That is, I haven't been scratching it deliberately or attacking it with knives or keys or anything like that. Being at home, going to work, being on public transport and so on. And I want to show you how it's performed. Right after I did my unboxing video, I was removing this case to put my SIM card in to set up the phone, and my thumb slipped and I made a massive scratch across the back of this phone, just about here somewhere. And I was like, oh my god, I've already destroyed my case and I haven't even used it for 1 day. But actually I rubbed it a little bit and there's no sign of it, and that was a pretty intense scrape as far as I'm concerned. But as you can see, there's absolutely no sign. It happened just about here. Not only that, but there isn't really any sign of any wear or damage on the case anywhere. Now, as I said, I've been using this normally. I've been putting it in my pocket. I've been resting it down on tables. I haven't done anything stupid like rest it on concrete or drive over it with a car or anything. I've just been using it normally. There's no dust, there's no lint. Any little bit of lint or dust just wipes right off. There is dust in the camera cutout, so I just use my little blower to get it out, and that's pretty effective at getting most of that out. The case itself, no signs of wear, no signs of damage. All signs so far point that this back is going to last a very long time. And actually, the more I've owned it, the more I've gotten to like this soft fine woven feel. It is a very nice feel, it's a very nice texture. It feels really good to hold. I've been trying to come up with ways to describe it. Honestly, it doesn't feel like anything that exists right now. It feels kind of like velvet, but it also feels kind of like Alcantara, but it also kind of feels like suede. It is its own thing. Nothing else is going to feel like this. And I have a couple of items that I can compare it to. A lot like my Alcantara case. It feels a lot like my sofa. It even feels a lot like the Alcantara that I have in my car. But it isn't quite there. It is really its own thing. And you're gonna have to feel this for yourself to decide whether you like it or not. I like it, but other people hate it and can't stand the feel of it. There are other people who also can't stand the feel of silicone cases. So this is a very, very personal choice that you're gonna have to make yourself. Unfortunately, you just can't listen to anyone on YouTube and think that their opinion is gonna be the same as yours on this. The buttons are excellent. I have to say the buttons are probably the best thing about this case. They are metal and they kind of float, so when you put them on the phone, all of the resistance that you're feeling is actually the resistance of the buttons on the phone itself, which are very nice. Now, this is the old case from my S9 Plus, which I sold a few weeks ago, but I held onto the case because honestly, it's so manky that no new owner is going to want this. But let's have a look at how this has worn over time. This is a very similar kind of case. As you can tell, I like fabric cases. Now this one's over 5 years old, and let's have a look at how it's worn. It's clearly used, it clearly has a lot of scratches, but it doesn't look disgusting like my S23 Ultra case looks. This is only 6 months old, and this doesn't look nicely patinaed. This just looks gross. Now, looking at how this cloth case is worn, the fabric has held out mainly, except for the corners where you can see some wear on the top corners. It's quite smooth. Most of the Alcantara has actually worn off, but because the Alcantara is black and the plastic is black, it doesn't actually look that bad. On the bottom of the case, it's worn completely through, and you can see the plastic actually showing through the Alcantara. Now, as for the feel of it, they both feel very nice. This Samsung case, as you can see, has loads of scratches, and in fact, if I just do this right here, you can see I've left a mark that doesn't wipe off immediately. Now that's exactly what's been happening to this iPhone 15 case. Many of you reviewers out there have been scratching it with nails and keys and so on, leaving marks that don't come off. As you can see, over time, it doesn't really matter. A nice case is a nice case, and there's a difference between natural wear over time, which kind of reflects how you've used the case and how you've looked after your phone, and disgustingness that just looks dirty and unusable. I really like this case. It's the only case I had for my S9 for all the time. That's kind of how I tend to use cases. I buy one case and I don't change. It's an official Samsung case, metal buttons, very nice, very clicky. I see a lot of similarities between these two cases. And as I said, if this wears as nicely as this Samsung one wears, I'll be very happy with it. So we just got some dust on it here, but it just wipes completely off. No problems at all. So as for the edges are absolutely fine. Again, they don't show any marks. It feels like rubberized Finewoven, and the grippiness varies. If your hands are dry, it's actually quite slippery, and this phone could slip out of your hand quite easily. But if your hands are just slightly wet or slightly damp, or what I would, by saying that I mean normal hands, it's going to be quite grippy and secure in your hand. Now, I've said a lot of good things about this case, but there is one thing that I cannot forgive Apple for in terms of quality, and I didn't notice this myself. I actually noticed this only after someone on YouTube pointed it out. The cutout at the bottom for the USB port is not centered. You can clearly see a bit of the screw on one side and no screw on the other side. This is so dumb. This cannot be by accident. Either one, they did it on purpose for some kind of a joke. Two, this means that a degree of incompetence exists at Apple, which is so huge. And the third option is they noticed it and just decided to leave it. So if it's number one, haha, very funny Apple, I hate that. That's stupid. You can't make those kind of jokes with your customers. If it's number two, then I'm genuinely worried about Apple as a company and worried that the product it makes are going to be trash. Like, if they could make such an oversight on something that we can clearly see, who knows what's happening on the inside of this phone that's going to break in the next year or so. The third option, that they saw it and decided to leave it, is just as bad. Because what does Apple think about its customers then? Do you think we're stupid? We're going to pay all this money for a case and then you're just going to have some big mistake like that, which honestly you should have caught. You should have caught that either in the design or in the very early production stages, and either stopped production of this case or sold these cases at some kind of discount or something. But to have an error like that on a phone that you designed and a case that you designed at the same time is seriously inexcusable. Like, there is nothing that could have happened in your giant company that would have allowed this to pass quality control and make it all the way to retail stores. Now, I have seen other people on YouTube. Well, I've seen one other person on YouTube with this case, and the port is declined. So maybe just a manufacturing defect in the early ones. I'm not sure. But honestly, that pisses me off, because it tells me that Apple does not think that as a customer who's paying a lot of money, I'm worthy of a good product. And it just worries me for the entire phone and for all of Apple's products, really. That is really disappointing. Despite everything I like about this case, something like that is going to make me want to return this case. I don't think I can, because I can't find another cloth case as nice as this to buy, whether from Apple or from any third party. If you know of one, please let me know in the comments. It's obvious, like, I'm a fan of fabric cases, and I don't really want to go with a silicone or even a leather at this stage. Let's have a look at this case, for example. This is a case I have for my Pixel 4a, and this is also a fabric case. This fabric is really strong. It's like it's from a waterproof jacket or something. The buttons suck. There's no fabric lining on the inside, so this is really a bad case. But as far as durability goes, I'm not scratching it, I'm just rubbing my fingers on it. That feels nice, that feels really strong. This case cost 99 pence. Yes, this case cost less than £1, including shipping from AliExpress. So this is what you can do for 99p. Apple, for £59, you could do better than that. Samsung, for 40, 50, 55 pounds, I think, you could definitely do better than that. Look, I don't want to start ranting now, because if I continue talking about this, I will. So I want to end it there. As far as durability wise, I've used this for 6 days. It's fine, no concerns whatsoever. I'm going to be forced to keep it despite how much that pisses me off and how much that makes me hate Apple. Unfortunately, I don't really have much of a choice for a case at this point in time. It is what it is. You decide how you want to spend your money. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.